The awakening beyond the veil. For most of my life, I had been what some might call a casual believer. I attended church on occasion, offered up prayers when I needed something, and assumed that was enough. My faith was like a flickering candle, present but dim, never truly illuminating my path. That all changed on the morning of October 12, 2023, when I experienced something that shattered everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the unseen forces that shape our world. It was a crisp autumn morning in Maplewood, a small town where the trees had just begun shedding their golden leaves. As I drove to work at Riverside Medical Center, where I worked as a respiratory therapist, my mind was preoccupied with the day's schedule. My travel mug of coffee sat snugly in the cup holder, filling the car with the comforting aroma of vanilla and cinnamon. The sun had just begun to peek over the horizon, casting long shadows across the nearly empty road. I remember thinking about one of my patients, a little boy named Ethan, who had been struggling with severe asthma. His frail body and bright, hopeful eyes had been on my mind all week. I never saw the truck coming. Later, I would learn that the driver, an exhausted man named Peter, had fallen asleep at the wheel after working a double shift. His semi-trailer crossed the median at full speed and collided with my car head-on. The impact was devastating. According to the emergency responders, they initially believed there was no way anyone could have survived the wreckage. My body was lifeless. Clinically, I was dead for exactly 7 minutes and 42 seconds. But in those minutes, I experienced something that felt like an eternity. The moment of impact was not what I expected. There was no pain, no fear, only an overwhelming sensation of being pulled upward. It was as if I had been freed from the constraints of my body, floating effortlessly into an expanse of pure, radiant light. A profound peace enveloped me, dissolving every worry, every doubt, every burden I had ever carried. It was unlike anything I had ever felt, a warmth that filled every fiber of my being, as if I had been embraced by love itself. Then, I found myself in a space unlike anything in the physical world. It was not heaven as I had imagined it. There were no clouds, no pearly gates. Instead, it was a realm of infinite consciousness, a place where time and space intertwined in a way beyond human comprehension. Colors I had never seen before swirled around me, their hues shifting with the pulse of an unseen energy. It felt alive, as though I had stepped into the very fabric of existence itself. That's when I saw them, the prayers. They weren't just words whispered into the void. They were living streams of energy, each unique in color and intensity. Some prayers were bright and piercing, like beams of light cutting through the fabric of reality. Others were softer, more diffused, like waves rippling outward in a never-ending dance. I watched in awe as these prayers moved, intertwined, and reached their destinations with purpose. A presence appeared beside me, one of light and wisdom. Though it had no distinct form, I instinctively knew who it was. Gabriel, not as a winged figure from paintings, but as something far greater, a being of celestial radiance whose voice resonated not through sound, but through understanding. When he spoke, it was as if his words were etched directly into my soul. "You have been chosen to witness this," he said, "because your understanding must grow. And through you, others will learn." I barely had time to process his words before he guided me forward. Before me stretched what appeared to be a vast, intricate network, a celestial control room where threads of light moved and shifted in an elegant, harmonious design. This was where prayers and divine energy met the material world. It was a living system, an unseen force shaping the realities of those still on earth. "Watch carefully," Gabriel instructed, directing my gaze to a particular strand of light. I saw the prayer of a mother in Brazil, pleading for the healing of her sick child. As the prayer ascended, it did not simply vanish. Instead, it transformed, its energy shifting into events and circumstances that rippled through reality. I saw how it influenced a doctor's intuition, leading him to recall a forgotten treatment. I saw how it strengthened the child's immune system, how it wove through the hearts of strangers who would unknowingly offer help. Prayer is not merely asking, Gabriel explained. It is participation in creation itself. When humans pray, they do not simply send words to heaven. They engage with the very essence of existence. I could hardly breathe, if breathing was even necessary in this place. I watched as different types of prayers manifested differently. Prayers of gratitude shimmered in golden waves, enhancing the blessings they touched. Prayers for guidance formed violet pathways, clearing the fog of confusion from those seeking direction. The most powerful of all were prayers made with unwavering faith. They shot through the spiritual realm like arrows of light, piercing through darkness, altering destinies. Then, Gabriel showed me something that broke my heart. There were prayers that barely flickered, weak and fragmented, unable to break through the heavy atmosphere surrounding them. I saw the source of their weakness, prayers spoken without faith, without sincerity, mere repetitions of words without true conviction. Others were selfish, focused only on personal gain without consideration of God's will or the greater good. These prayers dissipated before they could truly take shape. "Do you see now?" Gabriel asked, his voice filled with both sorrow and love. "This is why so many feel unheard. Their prayers are not denied, but they lack the faith to bring them to fruition." I wanted to cry, to fall to my knees in repentance, for I had been guilty of such prayers myself. How many times had I prayed without truly believing? How often had I treated prayer as a ritual rather than a sacred connection to the divine? Before I could say anything, Gabriel lifted his hand, and the vision before me shifted once more. "Now, let me show you what happens when prayer is aligned with faith and purpose." What I saw next would change everything. Gabriel extended his hand, and as he did, the vast celestial network before me shifted. Threads of light pulsed and reconfigured, revealing a new scene. "Now, let me show you what happens when prayer is aligned with faith and purpose," he said. I watched as a golden beam of light ascended from a small home in Italy. An elderly woman, Rosa, knelt beside her bed, hands clasped, whispering a heartfelt prayer for her ailing son. Her words carried conviction, unwavering faith woven into every syllable. The prayer surged forward, cutting through the dense atmosphere and reaching the divine tapestry above. As soon as it connected, a ripple effect began. I saw how Rosa's prayer was amplified, merging with others praying for the same man, family members, friends, even strangers. Their prayers intertwined like strands of a mighty rope, strengthening the divine response. A warm light descended upon the son's hospital bed, his breathing stabilizing as the doctors, moved by a sudden insight, adjusted his treatment. "Faith," Gabriel explained, "is what gives prayer its true power. When one prays with complete trust in the divine, the effect is immeasurable. The heavens respond not only to words but to the depth of belief behind them." I was in awe. I had never understood prayer beyond mere requests or moments of desperation. Yet here, I saw it as a force, an energy that influenced reality itself. Suddenly, the golden glow dimmed, and I was drawn to another part of the vast spiritual realm. This time, I saw prayers that flickered weakly, dissipating before they could reach their destination. They came from people who were doubtful, distracted, or merely reciting words without meaning. Some of these prayers originated from places of greed or selfishness, aimed solely at personal gain. I observed a man in an office, hastily muttering a prayer for wealth before returning to his work, his mind already occupied with other concerns. His words drifted upward but barely made a mark. In contrast,